Microsoft is under fire again this week. This story and more on this week's episode of ThreatWire. A vulnerability was found in PHP, but what else is new? The remote code execution vulnerability, dubbed CVE 2024-4577, was discovered by the team at DevCore, which they classified it as being critical. The vulnerability allows for bypassing of a patch rolled out to fix a query string parameter vulnerability found and patched in 2012. All it took was a specific character sequence. The quirk is that this only works on Windows operating systems. According to DevCore, the flaw exists because the scripting language's implementation did not consider the best fit feature of encoding conversion within the Windows operating system, which controls the conversion of Unicode characters to the closest matching ANSI characters. A patch for this RCE was released on June 6th, aka less than a week ago. If you're running PHP specifically on Windows, be sure to update your versions as soon as possible. Many versions of PHP are end of life, so they have offered some mitigations for those who cannot upgrade PHP or are using XAMPP for Windows, since there has yet to be an update published for that. Last week, we touched on the data leak of Ticketmaster. In that story, I briefly mentioned that Snowflake was quickly implicated and absolved of blame, but that didn't stop the press from running with it. Snowflake released their first statement on June 2nd. After working with Mandiant and CrowdStrike, they found no indicators of compromise for sensitive customer data, but did find that a demo account that doesn't touch any production or customer data was accessed by an unknown third party. Since then, Snowflake has released a few statements, all remaining steadfast that they were not breached and have not discovered unauthorized access. As a part of our commitment to transparency around our ongoing investigation involving a targeted threat campaign against some Snowflake customer accounts, cybersecurity expert Mandiant shared this blog post today detailing their findings to date. As we shared on June 6th, we continue to work closely with our customers as they harden their security measures to reduce cyber threats to their businesses, and we are developing a plan to require our customers to implement advanced security controls like multi-factor authentication or network policies. Customers have been giving out statements to news outlets. On May 31st, TechCrunch reported that an anonymous spokesperson for Ticketmaster told them that the stolen data came from Snowflake. Following up, they refused to comment. On June 7th, TechCrunch also reported that another company, QuoteWizard, a subsidiary of LendingTree, had data stolen from Snowflake. However, in the quote they use from said company, they explicitly say, "Our subsidiary QuoteWizard may have had data impacted by this incident." Snowflake is also being pointed to as the blame for the data breach to Santander Bank that may have happened in mid-May. As of writing this, Snowflake has yet to publish an 8K. As a reminder, an 8K is a form required by the SEC to be filed by US publicly traded companies within 4 days of becoming aware of a breach. There are exceptions, specifically only a 30-day extension granted by the Attorney General in certain situations regarding national security. Snowflake has not filed an 8K. Ticketmaster has. If Snowflake was due to have a data breach, they should have already published an 8K. Following the Santander story, with a 30-day extension, we are basically already post that 30-day extension period. So what's going on? On June 10th, Mandiant published a write-up detailing what happened to Snowflake and what exactly is going on. If you're confused, so was I, so let's lay out what's actually happening here. It's not that Snowflake was compromised, it's that there was an InfoSealer malware campaign specifically targeting Snowflake customers to get their passwords to access their data in their Snowflake instances. This is why Snowflake has been emphasizing for customers to enable MFA on their accounts. Snowflake does not have MFA on by default, it's opt-in, hence making customer accounts inherently vulnerable. The bad actor, dubbed UNC5537, is financially motivated and compromising Snowflake using a menagerie of InfoSealer malware variants. For organizations that directly engaged Mandiant for incident response services, Mandiant determined the root cause of their Snowflake instance compromise was exposed credentials. Further, according to Mandiant and Snowflake's analysis, at least 79.7% of the accounts leveraged by the threat actor in this campaign had prior credential exposure. As of writing this, Mandiant and Snowflake have notified around 165 customers that may have been affected. Mandiant explains that while the tools used were not novel, simply an aggregation of Snowflake victim information was the cause. On the original Snowflake statement, they also included steps on how to harden your Snowflake accounts. So if you were already contacted, you probably know where to find the steps. But if you're concerned, I've linked the statement down below. Let's talk about what happened to Jacoby. I'm going to summarize a huge post, but I want to bring attention to the story because it's heartbreaking. Jacoby is a researcher, bounty hunter, and white hat hacker. He is also a huge lover of Hack5 tools and has contributed a plethora of Ducky script payloads. After trying to turn in a discovered bug, and after months of back and forth, Microsoft quietly resolved Jacoby's bugs, shut down his accounts, and essentially ruined his life. Due to their quiet, non-paid resolutions, he had to cancel multiple speaking and press opportunities, lost literal thousands of dollars, and now has his home in foreclosure due to this. Shame on you, Microsoft. Pulling stunts like this is what leads people to sell 0 days rather than report them directly to you. Do Jacoby right and pay the man what he's due. Full story is linked in a tweet below, and y'all know what to do. Go show the guy some love. Since reporting about Microsoft recall last week, security researchers have been having a field day. We talked a lot about Kevin Beaumont's research, who at the time, I didn't know this, and I failed to mention that at one point he literally worked at Microsoft as a senior security researcher. Security researcher XAI Tax published a less than 200-line Python script that extracts and displays data from the recall feature. Recall has been reverse engineered. It's now searchable, and it isn't a pretty sight. According to Windows Central, Microsoft was overly secretive about the development of Windows Recall. If you knew, you knew. Many employees didn't even know about the project. Microsoft has a public history of testing new features through their Windows Insider program, but not even they were made aware. This security catastrophe probably could have been avoided with proper public discussion. So what's changed in the last week? More of the public has spoken out about their concerns with recall. The security issues, the potential abuse, the vulnerabilities, how it enables stalkerware, and just so many ethical and actual security issues. Microsoft released a formal statement on June 7th, making some changes to the project. First and foremost, they now make it an opt-in feature. Second, facial recognition will be required for reviewing and searching the recall feature. Third, they plan on adding better encryption to the snapshots. Will these changes actually assuage the concerns of the security community? Yes and no. It clearly still can be used as stalkerware, but these new additions could be the start to a safer daily AI integration. Speaking of AI in our computers, how does everyone feel about the integration of AI into Apple products that was announced this week during WWDC? It seems like they're adding a lot of info capturing. We'd love to hear what you think in the comments down below. By the way, I haven't mentioned this in a while, but we are still doing the book club over on the Discord via the Patreon. It's not too late to join. We're just wrapping up the first section, which mostly is covering coding basics. We jump into buffer overflows in the following meeting. Being a part of the book club is a perk of the Patreon, which you could go over and support at patreon.com/threatwire. As a reminder, this also helps keep this show ad-free. Also, if you're seeing this before June 12th, 2024, I'm hosting a cybersecurity content creator social engineering game night with my friends. What a tongue twister. It's on June 12th at 7 p.m. EST, and we're going to be playing Among Us, aka Social Engineering the Game, so if you want to watch, head over to my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/endingwithali. We have some really big names joining me, and I would love to have the Hack5 community come and watch. Thank you so much for watching ThreatWire for the week of June 10th, 2024. If you want to find me online, you can find me everywhere at Ending with Ali. Good luck, have fun, and don't get caught.